Welcome to episode 2 of the Raising Type 1 podcast. This episode is called A Letter to That Mom.
Today we're going to be talking to the mom we were on diagnosis day and everything we didn't know yet.
And also the time that's passed between now and then, things we've learned along the way, things that have changed and things that definitely have not changed.
So much has changed. It's so crazy to think that it's been 3.5 years for us and just over 2 years for y'all.
Yeah, I feel like it has been a lifetime and yesterday all at once.
It's wild.
We also wrote ourselves letters that we are going to read at the end of the episode. We're definitely saving that for the end because I think we're both going to get very emotional reading letters to our past selves, like from diagnosis day. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we've got the tissues on standby.
We literally are staring at a box of tissues in front of us. Like, no joke, we prepped because
we are ready.
We're ready. We're ready for the tears.
But we're also not.
We're not. We're not ready.
Welcome to Raising Type 1, a podcast for parents navigating life with type 1 diabetes.
Honest conversations, shared experiences, and reminders that you don't have to do this alone.
All right, so let's rewind it all the way back to diagnosis day. Aubrey, what did diagnosis day feel like for you?
Oh my gosh. When I think back to like actually physically being in the hospital, I think my adrenaline was so high and I was so much in like just get through it physically mode that I don't remember having strong emotions in the hospital. I don't remember like being super upset in the hospital. I don't remember being honestly like emotional at all while we were there. I think it hit me once we got home and honestly trying to figure out how to put him to bed that night and realizing that I didn't want him in a separate room from us because I was so scared that he was going to like go unconscious or start seizing or something and I wouldn't know because he didn't have a Dexcom at this time. So those are some of the first emotions I remember feeling was like when we got home and it was like, oh, like we're on our own. We have to do this by ourselves now. There's not monitors attached to him anymore. There's not nurses around coming in to check every hour. Like, this is on us now. So those are the feelings that I remember from that like first week.
I think I can relate to that. I feel like looking back and whenever someone asks me, how did you feel on diagnosis day? I remember one singular moment of like high emotion, and that was when they physically came in and told us what the diagnosis was.
Yeah.
And other than that, I feel like I brain dumped or just, buried it deep into a dark part of my brain. And it's so hard to actually recall most of that hospital stay. Like you said, I think it's the adrenaline. I think it's the fact that you're just in pure survival mode.
Yeah. It's almost like you like have to disassociate to just get through the difficulty of it and like how intense it actually is. Like you just have to be like, okay, I'm gonna physically get through this. Like my child needs me to be there for them right now, and I'm just gonna like power through and not think about all the big feelings and emotions.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of don't have a choice.
Yeah, like what time do you have to really like wallow in self-pity in that moment? Like your child now needs you to keep them alive 24/7. So that's that. Like,
yeah, I think my favorite place to wallow in self-pity was the shower because that was really the only alone time that I got right after diagnosis.
Yeah, definitely. Because like, I don't know about you, but I was not regularly leaving the house after diagnosis, like not without him. He was sleeping in our bed. I literally remember when my husband went back to work, he took off the week after Wells was diagnosed. And then he went back to work. I remember him going back to work and there was like one particular day that I needed to take a shower. And I previously would have just like let Wells sit on the bed in my bedroom, like right outside, my bathroom door, whatever. And I was like, I can't do that anymore. Like I need to be able to see him. I need to be able to physically see him. And so we have a bathtub that's directly beside our shower and our shower is like a glass door so I can see through it. And I put him in the bath so that I could just see him. There was no water in the bathtub. I sat him in the bath with, I think, like toys and the iPad so that I could take a shower.
I remember you telling me this. This sounds familiar.
Yeah. Because, like, I wasn't going to take my eyes off of him.
Yeah. You don't have a choice, especially that early on. It's like you do whatever you need to do to ease, like, the constant anxiety and, like, all of those big feelings that are kind of just looming, like, waiting to come out.
And then they come out, and like, all at once.
There's no stopping it.
There's no stopping it. I don't remember the first time I had a breakdown, but I know that there were many. As soon as the adrenaline started wearing off and the reality started sinking in, that like this is our life forever. I mean, obviously he's going to grow up and become an adult one day, and I fully recognize that, but like long term, because these kids were diagnosed at age 3, so we have 15 years at least, and we'll worry about them when they're an adult too.
100%. I'm going to be on that follow app till the day I die.
Yes, you can pry the follow app out of my dead cold hands.
Right out of my dead hands.
I've like joked to Wes, my husband, before that like one of the conditions of Wells being able to go off to college is that he keeps me on the follow app. Like literally, I won't pay for your school.
I've had similar conversations with Tyler.
And maybe that's a little bit of sarcasm and like over exaggeration, but maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not. I fear
Maybe
more
I'm
leaning
so
towards more leaning towards the side of not most likely knowing us.
Maybe I'm so serious. Like, I don't know.
My husband Tyler is all about that. You know, one of these days you're gonna have to let go of control. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen. I fear.
It's just so hard, especially because like they're young children. We have full control. Like right now we have full control of management. And so I know it's going to be hard to let go of that one day.
It is.
Or like even just a little bit let go of it.
And I think now with Pax being 7, like he's kind of in this weird like transition phase where some days has so much interest in learning about, you know, how to manage his diabetes. And he's like, hey, Mom, I want to learn how to bolus my insulin. I want to change my site by myself. And so I try really hard to give him as much autonomy as possible because they lose so much of it with diabetes because you have to do all these things to keep yourself alive. Like there's no choice.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of getting somewhat to the very beginning of having to give up a little bit of control. And that's going to be something that I have to try really hard to do. But also, he's young still. I have a lot of control. And I know that as he gets to be a preteen, a teenager, he might not choose to keep as tight of control. So I'm going to do my best now to minimize any sort of damage that could be done from crazy blood sugars.
Yeah.
Knowing that his teenage years are probably going to be difficult, even just for the insulin resistance that comes with puberty. Like, I am so dreading that.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I almost feel like there's a little bit of pressure that I've honestly just probably put on myself to try to achieve tight control for him so that is possible for him as a teenager. And sometimes, I mean, I've put that pressure on myself. Like, he, you know, he's great. He's healthy. Like, we do a good job managing. But it is hard. Like, I kind of feel like every high blood sugar he has, I'm like, oh, crap, I'm supposed to be doing a better job than this so that he doesn't have to feel this way when he's a teenager or whatever and he's controlling himself. So,
yeah,
it's self-inflicted.
I think, too, what we both need to do a little bit better on is giving ourselves grace because while they're learning and it becomes their time to kind of step into that role, we're going to have to give them grace, too.
Yeah.
And we have to set that example that, hey, I spiked to 160 after a meal. It's not the end of the world. What can we do to fix it as fast as possible?
Yeah, for sure. In fact, my husband and I had a conversation about this relatively recently. We were on the way back from somewhere fun with all the kids. I can't remember where we went, if it was like the movies or something. It was like maybe around Halloween or something like that. I can't remember now, but we took all the kids to do something fun and it was a great time. We had a great time. They had a great time. And on the way home, we were driving back and Wells' blood sugar like spiked through the roof. I don't remember the details, like for whatever reason he spiked through the roof. And I was just like really frustrated because sometimes I feel like it's hard to let go enough to go do something fun and like carefree and not care in the moment and say, yes, you can get a special snack at this place or you can get, you know, X, Y, and Z, or we can do X, Y, and Z, this like big activity that I know is going to make you go low, but it's, you know, you have to have a childhood. And so we were driving home and I just started like ranting and raving and I was like, this is why we can't go do anything fun because this is what it turns into. And like, now I have to deal with this and blah, blah, blah. And I was just in a mood for whatever reason and burnt out maybe and fed up that particular day. But my husband was like, you have to stop. Like, you're saying this out loud and everybody in this car, including Wells, is hearing you feel like your entire day was ruined because of diabetes. And I got so mad in the moment at him because I was like, oh, screw you. Like, you're not supporting me in this moment. Like, I'm having big feelings and you should just be there for me. But he was right. My reaction in that moment was like anger and frustration that like something fun turned into a lot of work and something to fix for me. But what example is that setting for Wells and for the other kids to hear that diabetes ruined that experience for me? And I don't want Wells to ever feel that way. So as mad as I was at my husband in that moment, he was right. And it has made me think twice before audibly getting frustrated at diabetes in front of Wells.
Wes, if you're listening, take that as a win. You're probably not going to hear that too often.
Listen, I don't like to admit that I'm wrong. If anybody,
Neither of us do.
If anybody knows me, that's definitely my personal fault. But
well, it's also because we're almost never wrong.
yeah,
so
exactly. I'm basically a pancreas.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I have a question for you then. Thinking back to diagnosis, like time, day, week after, whatever. What was the thing you were the most scared of then? Like, what was the constant fear that kept popping into your head, the most prevalent fear at that time?
Gosh, I think if I had to narrow it down to like one specific feeling, I think I would have to go with, I was constantly thinking in the back of my mind, is diabetes going to completely like shatter and ruin his childhood? Like, am I going to be able to give him even close to a normal childhood like what my daughter would get, who isn't a type 1 diabetic?
Yeah. I can totally relate to that. Like, I think I felt the same way with Wells in those moments and still sometimes feel that way. Like, I know that I can give him a childhood, but it's not normal.
It's not. I think it felt a lot scarier, like back obviously right after diagnosis, but with both the boys only being 3 when they were diagnosed, their level of understanding of what was going on and why all of a sudden they needed, 6 to 10 shots a day. Like, how do you explain that to a 3-year-old?
Yeah. Or like, hey, you have to stop playing, your blood sugar's low. Or hey, you can't jump on the trampoline right now. You just ate a meal and got 2 units of insulin and I can't risk you plummeting right now.
Yeah.
A lot of no's. A lot of no's.
There still are a lot of no's to this day. I think we've gotten better at saying, hey, we can do it, just not right now, or let's find a better time.
Yeah.
But I think it's still very hard to balance and not allow diabetes to become the forefront of every single moment of your life.
Yeah, and I think because it's a safety thing, right? Like, it has to be a thought in front of every yes or no. We went to Disney in November.
Yeah.
It was in November.
Of 25.
And and my husband took off work and stayed home with our other 3 kids who are all not diabetic. And I had Wells and his service dog with me. And my husband sent me a text at one point while we were there. And he said, like, we've got to tell these kids yes more, because every time they've asked to go on the trampoline or order pizza or, do X, Y, and Z, and I say yes, they're all shocked. And it kind of broke my heart because even their childhoods have been in some way impacted by Wells having diabetes. And, we can't say yes to them and no to him all the time. And so we kind of make it like a big no for everybody involved. Like, no, we're not going to order pizza tonight. I also should mention really quick, because that sounds a little bit controversial, Wells has a secondary condition called CSID. And so if at any point in the podcast I'm talking about like Wells' dietary restrictions, it's actually not because of type 1 diabetes, it's because of his CSID. So just a little disclaimer, because I do mention that, and I think I've mentioned that a couple times now already, like the pizza thing and stuff like that. Wells actually cannot properly digest carbohydrates. He lacks the enzyme to properly digest carbs, which is awfully ironic, having type 1 diabetes.
As if it wasn't bad enough. Let's give you like the other worst combination you can have.
Right. So basically what was happening is I was dosing insulin for things that were carb heavy. I honestly thought he had celiac disease. He had an endoscopy done. He had some GI issues literally his whole life. And they biopsied him for this and sent his biopsies, I think, to CHOP, and came back that he is deficient in like all of the enzymes, like lactase, sucrase. And so when I was dosing him insulin for these items and then he was eating, like, say a cupcake, you would think a cupcake would send a diabetic's blood sugar high. Like, that's, icing and carb heavy. Like, it makes sense. But the opposite was happening for him. He was plummeting into like the 30s or 40s. And I was so confused. I'm like, it's literally like he's not digesting these things. And that was our answer. That is what happens when he eats heavy carbs. And so Wells eats I don't know that I would call it low carb, but we do avoid very carb heavy things. So yeah, just a little like disclaimer there, because I don't want anybody thinking that we restrict his diet strictly because of type 1 diabetes. He does have a secondary condition. Anyways, so when my husband sent me that text, it kind of broke my heart, just like knowing that there's nothing I can really do to change the fact that there are impacts on all 4 of my kids due to Wells's medical needs. So how do you feel like you cope with that now? Like, what do you do to help not just yourself but also Paxton? Like, do you feel like you mentioned something about changing the verbiage of, well, you can't do that right now, but we can find a time for you to do it. Like, is that kind of how you mitigate?
I think that's how we try to mitigate a lot of the things that would be no's. I think it's also kind of, there comes a time where you kind of have to pick your battles. Obviously, his blood sugar isn't going to be perfect 24/7. And if he is going to be able to have a really good experience doing something or eating something, then, I'll suck it up for the moment and make it work to the best of my ability. So looking back, what is one thing that you know now that you didn't then? Or something that you were told that you quickly found out was not true? At least for Wells. Obviously, I know that type 1 diabetes affects everyone differently, but
yeah,
you kind of get a blanket of information that applies to everyone, air quotes, at diagnosis, and a lot of it doesn't end up applying to your child.
I think I would say that diabetes is not the same for everyone. And so in getting advice, whether it be from an endocrinologist, a diabetic educator, another diabetic, another parent of a type 1 diabetic, it's great to gather information, but take it with a grain of salt, because it's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about type 1 diabetes when he was diagnosed, so I didn't know that then, but I definitely know that now. And we even see that with Wells and Paxton. They are not that far apart in age.
Yeah.
Not crazy far apart in size. Not drastically far apart in size. And their insulin needs vary greatly. Their reaction to activity varies greatly. Like, Paxton goes low with activity and Wells goes high with activity. So just in gathering advice and knowledge from other people and other diabetics is to, nobody knows your child better than you do and how they react to things.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's just something you have to learn as you go. Yeah. You're not going to know that on diagnosis day.
Absolutely not.
So there's going to be a lot of negatives along the way until you learn what works for your child.
Yeah. There's a lot of trips and falls before you can walk in a straight line after diagnosis.
Yes.
What about you? What do you feel like you know now that you didn't know then, or wish you knew then?
I'm going to go more factual on this one. And obviously, to preface, this is not the same for every child, but the rule of 15. I want to talk about the rule of 15.
Yes.
If you don't know what it is basically the rule of when you get a low blood sugar, you are supposed to treat with 15 carbs and recheck blood sugar in 15 minutes. We learned very quickly that 15 carbs for a low was way too much for Paxton.
Yeah.
And obviously when, your MDI in those first few months after diagnosis, you don't have a lot of flexibility to adjust settings like you would if you were on a pump. So, if you overtreat, you're not gonna be able to have a pump that will auto bolus you to correct for that. So I think if I would have known back then, and for reference, like nowadays, most of Paxton's lows take anywhere between like 2 to 4 carbs to treat max. And it lands him right, beautiful in the 80s or 90s.
Yep.
So I think looking back, I would have really loved to know that. I think it would have really helped our control in those early days after diagnosis.
Yeah, our Dexcom graphs were roller coasters.
They were, yeah.
And I remember the endocrinologist telling me, and the diabetic educators, and this is no hate to them. I love our endocrinology team so much. Like,
Yes, I
I really do. They're very supportive. They're amazing. They've been so great to Wells and to myself, even on a personal level. They've been amazing. So it's no hate to them at all.
We promise no hate. We love you guys.
Yeah. But I remember like calling them or talking to them in appointments and being like, is this normal? Like, is this roller coaster normal? And the response I would frequently get was, it's just because he's young, you know, he's young, he's a kid, he's newly diagnosed. And to be honest, like, I think that's a load of crap. Like, I think it's a load of crap. It didn't have to be that way.
No. And I think, yes, there were still probably always going to be some degree of roller coasters in the beginning. You know what I mean? They send you home with once again, a blanket. Hey, you're going to give them either, when we got sent home from the hospital, we didn't even get ICRs. We got, no matter what he eats, no matter how much he eats, you're going to give him 1 unit of insulin with every meal.
Oh, yeah.
Does not matter what it contains.
My gosh.
I know. It's so wild. I forget about that sometimes.
That's crazy. I've heard of people getting like a sliding scale.
Yes, we got a sliding scale for corrections.
Okay.
But not for like carbs. So we didn't get carb ratios from our endo until probably like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after diagnosis.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just crazy to think back because it's like you wonder how much better control you could have had. And not saying that, you know what I mean, perfect control right out of the gate is what you should aim for, because obviously there's so much information that you have to research and absorb and, you know, also like survive and keep this child alive.
You have to acclimatize to the water before you fully jump into it.
Yeah. But hindsight is always 20/20. That's half the reason for this episode. But
yes. Yeah, I love the 15-15 thing that you touched on though, because I totally agree. I wish we had started with like even like 10 would have probably been better.
Yeah, just cut that in half. 7.5. You know what I'm saying?
Because I was so confused. Like, why is he spiking now? Like, I did the 15-15 rule and he's like 350 now and he was just low. And so like, what the heck? And like, you're confused because that's what you're being told to do. And it's,
I know
it does. I know there are people that like that do treat with that much or more. And that's fine. And I'm not saying like you shouldn't. And we're definitely not trying to give medical advice. Like if 15 works for your child, then please continue doing that.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to know that it's like an option to try something different. Or that
different. It's not going to work the same for everybody.
Yeah. Or that each low could be different. Like how fast are they dropping? Are they just like 75 or 80 and steady? Because you probably could just touch that with a little bit of carbs and not 15. Bump it. Yeah, just bump it.
Bump it.
And I feel like those are things that you learn over time, obviously. Like it's been 3 years.
3.5 years.
3.5 years since Paxton was diagnosed. So like obviously these are things that you pick up on over time as your confidence grows and stuff like that.
Yes.
I feel like too, you're just like, you kind of gain a secondary maternal instinct in a way. Like I think moms, we have maternal instincts.
Oh, 100%. Mom's intuition is totally real. And I will believe that till the day I die.
Absolutely. And I think you almost gain like a secondary like mother's intuition as a medical mom.
I can see that.
Like a whole new level of being so tuned in to their medical needs. And it just has to develop over time.
I think also your ability to notice and like lock on to trends
in
their blood sugar.
Yes.
So for instance, like when we feed Paxton mac and cheese, specifically boxed mac and cheese, homemade mac and cheese is a completely different monster, but boxed mac and cheese specifically, we utilize extended bolus a lot, but this is actually a meal that does not need an extended bolus. He actually needs a split bolus. So if you don't know what a split bolus is, it's basically you give 2 separate boluses at 2 different points. You dose for, let's say, all of the carbs up front, and then, 2 hours later, you give another bolus to cover a spike that might happen, versus the extended bolus, which gives a constant drip of a designated amount of insulin over a designated amount of time.
If you have an insulin pump.
Yes, if you have an insulin pump. So with boxed mac and cheese, I will dose completely up front for all of the carbs. And exactly 2.5 hours after he finishes that meal, he will start to spike. So I have to give a secondary split dose to cover that rise if I don't want him to go out of range.
Yeah. And that's something you just had to do.
Had to learn the hard way on that one. Yeah.
And I'm sure you tried like 100 other things before you realized that was the key.
1,000%.
Yeah. You have to fail like 100 times at pretty much everything with diabetes. And still then, sometimes it's going to be right and sometimes it's going to be wrong.
Yeah, you'll fail 1,000 times. You'll get a win. You'll get cocky. And then it'll go back to humbling you right after that.
Immediately humbling right after that.
What about you, though? What is something that you think has changed over time?
I think probably like trusting my instincts and also my own confidence in myself to make the right decision. And to like trust that what I think is going to happen is probably going to happen. And I think that's actually something that I picked up from the Juice Box podcast.
Yeah.
I think there's an episode where, or frequently he mentions like, you know, you see a pattern, trust what you know is going to happen, and kind of like beat it to the punch. Like if you know they're going to go low, treat it before they're low. If you know they're going to go high, treat it before they're high. Just kind of like trusting those like instincts. They have large ketones, just go ahead and change the site. Like things like that. I've kind of learned to stop second guessing myself quite as much. I mean, I still totally do because like that's just natural.
It's just part of the job.
Yeah. But I do feel like I do it a little bit less. Like, okay, I'm going to just make the decision that I think is right now.
And most of the time it'll be right.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. But not always, and that's okay too. Like this is an ever-changing thing, and I very much need to work on giving myself grace, but I do think my confidence has grown since he was diagnosed. One of the best tips that I ever got after Wells was diagnosed was from a mom that I connected with on a Facebook group. Her name is Lydia. I'm going to have to send her this episode because she was really the turning point for us in Wells's control. And she would let me send her Dexcom screenshots. And I'd be like, this is what happened. What do I need to change? Like, what do you think about this? How can I fix this? But she told me that type 1 diabetes management is literally just becoming a data analyst.
Yeah.
Like, you literally learn how to just analyze the data and make changes as needed. And that is like the key to better numbers, better blood sugar, better control, is learning how to analyze the data and confidently making the changes when you see the patterns in the data. And I still carry that with me to this day. Like, okay, let me put on my data analyst hat and like lock in and figure out why he's spiking every day at 2 p.m. What is happening? Let me analyze this data and look at what's happening. And really at the end of the day, like, yes, I could go to my endocrinologist team. Yes, I could go to the diabetic educators for that advice, but I am living the life with him. Like I am seeing what's happening at those times in a way that they aren't because they're not living with him. And so, yeah, growing in confidence, analyzing the data, and just like trusting my instincts and my confidence and what I know will happen or what is happening. Like my ability to analyze.
Yes, I love that. Couldn't agree more, actually.
Should we jump into reading our letters to ourselves?
I fear the time has come.
Oh God, I'm gonna cry, and so is Janelle. I'm so sorry if we make anybody else cry. I do think though, like writing them and reading them back through was really cathartic. The first time we briefly read them, we wrote it out and did what we said what we wanted to say, and then kind of just like put them away.
Yeah.
Haven't like revisited them a ton. So.
And we also haven't heard each other's letters yet.
No.
So we will keep the blubbering to a minimum.
We're gonna try not to dry heave on camera on voice recording.
Oh my God.
I just want to say, like I said, this was very cathartic for us. I think if you, like, I think other people should do it. Like, this is such a cool,
highly recommend.
Cool thing to do for yourself.
You definitely should do it.
You grow so much between diagnosis and present day. I mean, even if your child was diagnosed a week ago, you're a different person now than you were then. So, 10 out of 10 recommend. Which one of us wants to go first? Do you want to play rock, paper, scissors?
Oh my God. All right.
We're going to do best 2 out of 3. Ready?
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Beat you.
Damn it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Janelle has to go first.
No, I'm not ready. All right.
She's going to do great.
I'm gonna...
Here, hold on. Let me pass you the box of tissues,
yeah, thanks.
my queen.
Pass those
so welcome.
bitches over here. All right.
Give me a tissue, too, in case I start crying.
All right.
Oh, God.
You can't start already.
Okay, I'm not.
Here we go, guys. Dear me, you're asking the same question over and over. Will I ever sleep again? Not just rest, but real sleep. The kind where your body isn't bracing for something to go wrong. You're afraid that nights will always feel like this, that your ears will always be tuned to alarms, that your brain will never shut off long enough to feel peace again. You're also wondering, what is this going to do to his life? If diabetes is going to shrink it? Is it going to follow him into every room, every milestone, every dream? You're terrified that something so big and heavy is about to steal his childhood right out from under him. You're trying to picture his future, and all you see right now are limitations. more responsibility than a child should have, more worry than you ever wanted for him. You're afraid the carefree parts of life are gone, replaced by planning and caution and fear. Here's what I need you to know. The truth is, sometimes you'll sleep, and sometimes you won't. Some nights your body will finally rest, others you'll lie awake, listening, watching, waiting. And that uneven, unpredictable rhythm will just become part of your life. You'll learn how to function on broken sleep, how to be alert even when you're exhausted, and how to trust yourself even when you're tired. It's not fair, and it's not easy, but it's survivable. And you are stronger than you think, even on the nights you don't sleep at all. Yep, here it comes. This is super fun, guys. Ooh, all right. And this will change his life. There's no sugarcoating that. But it won't ruin it either. His childhood will still be full of joy, not untouched, but real. He will laugh loudly. He will feel proud of himself. He will be capable in ways that surprise you. And diabetes will be something that he carries, not something that defines him. This will change you too. You will become more vigilant, more protective, and more tired than you ever expected. But you will also become stronger, more confident, more sure of your ability to handle hard things. You won't always feel this afraid. The fear won't disappear, but it will loosen its grip. And one day you'll look back at this version of yourself with so much compassion. You are not failing. You are becoming. Love you.
Oh my God.
Oh, all right, your turn.
I changed my mind. I don't want to go last because now I'm already crying from yours and I have to read mine.
No takesies backsies.
That was beautiful.
Oh my gosh. We're fine, guys. I promise.
I'm sick. I'm sick. Oh my God. You need to get that tattooed.
Oh
Becoming.
That is so true.
All right. Let me just get this over with.
You got this, queen.
Dear Aubrey, on November 8th, 2023. I know you're standing there thinking his childhood just ended. Like joy is about to be replaced by schedules, numbers, and fear. I know you're grieving the life you thought he was going to have, the carefree one, the one where you didn't have to think this hard just to keep him safe. You're terrified you won't be able to keep him alive. No one is saying it out loud, but that's the fear sitting in your chest. You're afraid that one mistake, one missed low, one wrong number could take everything away from you. You don't trust yourself yet, and that's okay. You're wondering if he'll ever sleep without you watching every breath, if you'll ever close your eyes at night without listening for alarms, and if you'll ever let someone else be responsible for him, even for a few hours without panic setting in. And you're already feeling the guilt. Guilt that diabetes is about to take over your brain. Guilt that your other kids will feel it too. Guilt that you won't be able to be the same mom to them while you're learning how to survive this. Here's the thing. His childhood is not gone. It will look different, more intentional, more watched, more planned out, but it will still be full. He will still be a child first, not a diagnosis. You will learn how to keep him alive. Not all at once, not perfectly, but day by day, decision by decision, you will become someone who trusts her instincts. You will make the hard calls, you will mess up, and he will still be okay. Motherhood will change forever because of this. There's no way around it, and it's been hard to accept. You don't get to be the kind of mom who doesn't think ahead anymore. You don't get to turn your brain off, and it's okay to mourn that. But it hasn't all been bad. You will find friendships that you never would have had otherwise. Deep, steady ones built in understanding and not explanation. You will grow confident in your decision-making in a way you never imagined possible. You will learn to advocate without apologizing. And your other children, watching all of this up close and personal, will develop a kind of empathy that can't be taught, only lived. Diabetes will always be a part of your life, but it will not consume all of you forever. You will find a rhythm. You will breathe again, and you don't have to do this perfectly to do it well. You just have to keep showing up. Love you in January 2026.
You kept it together so much better than I did. Woo!
Only because I was going to choke on my spit if I cried too hard.
Maybe you just got all your tears out on mine. Let's take a second to collect ourselves here.
Nope, I think I'm going to just probably cry the rest of the night. I do feel like part of you dies and is reborn when your child is diagnosed. Part of you is left behind forever.
Yeah, and you're never going to get that person back completely.
And like, I feel like I have legitimately had to like mourn and grieve that to move forward in my life.
Yeah.
Like, it's something I've talked about in therapy. Like, life changed forever. There's no going back to how it was before. Like, this is life now, and like, you kind of go through the stages of grief. I feel like, I don't know that that's talked about enough.
No, it definitely needs to be. And if y'all wanted vulnerability, you got it. This is about as wide open as we get.
Episode 2 and we're sobbing.
I know. We're setting the tone. I promise all of the episodes won't be this sad, guys.
But I think when I read that letter to myself, as sad as it is, it's also beautiful in a way.
It is, and it's things that we need to tell ourselves more.
Yeah, it really is. And you just screenshot that and just put it as the background on my phone.
I was going to say, make it your phone background.
It's very easy to fall into self-doubt and not like see how far you've come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, if anybody else out there decides to write a letter to themselves, you don't have to share it with us, but we would love to know that you did it. If you want to post on our Facebook group and share with the class that you wrote a letter to yourself, if it helps you to write that letter, we would love to hear that it was beneficial for you or how it affected you.
Yes, our Facebook group is called Real Talk Raising Type 1, and we'd love to have you join the little community that we've got going on there.
Yeah.
But most importantly, we just want you guys to know that if you're also in the middle of this right now, you are not alone, and you are absolutely doing so much better than you think you are.
As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye, y'all.